जय श्री राम। वेलकम एवरीबॉडी, वेलकम टू भारत मार्ग। आपके लिए बहुत बहुत स्वागत। विनय जी और सीमा हिंदुस्तानी जी हमारा साथ हैं, उनके लिए भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। टुडे अपना टॉपिक जो है, नोटोरियस के गैंग क्रिमिनल निज्जर हॉनर्ड इन कैनेडियन पार्लियामेंट। ओके, बिलीव इट और नॉट फोक्स, कल इसके बारे में भी चर्चा होगा। और कल जो डिप्टी प्राइम मिनिस्टर के पास ये मीडिया हाउस पहले बार कैनेडियन मीडिया मुंह खोल के सवाल पूछा है कि ही वाज ऑन द नो फ्लाई जोन बिफोर हिज किलिंग, ओके, by the gang war, and also he was spied. He was a poor plumber with only $5 million in assets. Okay, इसके सारे के बारे में बातचीत होगा। There were tough questions, जिसके बारे में बातचीत होगा विनय जी के साथ और सीमा जी के साथ। आप जुड़े रहें दोस्तों, बट बिफोर गेटिंग फर्दर, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can. Friends, also please subscribe our channel भारत मार्ग। हमें समर्थन करें, कमेंट करें, कोई सवाल है तो पूछें, समर्थन करें। और जो भी हमारा काम है, जो काम कर रहे हैं अपना धर्म प्रचार के लिए, वो इधर स्क्रीन में आप देख सकते हैं। अगर किसी में भी आपको इंटरेस्ट है तो आप हमारा व्हाट्सएप नंबर जो इधर दिया हुआ है उधर मैसेज भेज सकेंगे। इसके अलावा हमारा हर दिन का एक धार्मिक मैसेज भी आती है, उसको पाने के लिए बहुत सारा लैंग्वेजेस में आते हैं। उसको पाने के लिए आप +16479644790 में व्हाट्सएप भेजिएगा, एंड फ्री में यू कैन गेट द मैसेज एंड यू कैन get stay connected to the Sanatan Dharma. And also, friends, we need your support in not only in sharing the video and also donating us. It's very important that you do donate, so that we can do our work, take our work further on the road. Okay, thank you, Vinay ji. Let me start with you. Okay, मैं आपसे चालू करूंगा कि आप कैसा देख रहे हैं ये नोटोरियस जो गैंग का जो क्रिमिनल निज्जर था, यू नो वो गैंग राइवलरी में मारा गया। और ये इसमें मैं दो तीन बात मैं साफ करना चाहता हूं, जिसके ऊपर आप बात भी कर सकते हैं, राइट। इसका लॉयर जो था वो पन्नून था। ओके, हिज एडवोकेट इज लिस्टेड एज पन्नून। ओके, जिसने ये बोला कि एयर इंडिया में दोबारा होने का मौका है। मैं वीडियो कुछ ही देर में दोबारा प्ले करूंगा। इट इज अ चिलिंग वीडियो, ओके, व्हाट एवरीबॉडी वन शुड सी। और ये बोला जाता है कि देयर वाज अ गैंग राइवलरी इन द drugs, and the thing was happening in from Guru Nanak Gurudwara in Saray. And but the thing is, interesting thing is, this guy was spied by the Canadian government. He was on the no-fly list on the Canadian government, by the Canadian government. And flight risk bola gaya tha isko. Okay, but he was honored in the parliament. आप कैसा देख रहे हैं? Please take up, Vinay ji.
Well, it's ironical that a terrorist, a designated terrorist, a known terrorist, a dreaded terrorist, and part of the Khalistani Tiger Force, which is a banned organization now in Canada, and this man who kept claiming that he's just an ordinary, simple plumber who lives in India and lives his own life, was found to have assets over several $1 million. Okay, number one. Number two, the Canadian government, actually, like you said, had put him on a no-fly list. Okay, which means that he is not allowed to fly. All right. So, I mean, obviously,
and everybody knew he came in the fake passport. Okay, yeah. In the name of Hindu name of Ravi Sharma.
I'll go back to that. So to kind of give a little perspective on what Nijjar is, who Nijjar is, and all that, right? So this man was a designated terrorist, like I said, and he was involved in multiple gang rivalries and so many things, right? I mean, there are rumors that when Ripudaman Singh Malik, the guy who was accused of one of the accused in the Air India Kanishka bombing, was actually kind of, he turned court actually. He became a turncoat, and he kind of started praising the Indian government, praising the Modi government at some point, because he was, in fact, he came out of this whole accusation, and basically the Canadian government, or the Canadian courts actually said he's not involved directly in any of this, and he was let go. So that's what happened. And then he turned court, and then he started praising the Indian government. This I'm talking about Ripudaman Singh. And then the gang rivalry started between Ripudaman Singh Malik and this Nijjar guy. And it appears the story goes that there was some huge gang rivalry going on between the two, and there's a possibility that Ripudaman Singh's gang actually killed this guy, because Ripudaman Singh was also died a year before. I think about a couple of years ago he died. And so there's that their gang actually killed Nijjar's gang. I mean, Nijjar and whoever. And there are other mysterious death incidents that have occurred in Canada at the same time. And this happened last year, in 2023, right? So now the going back to this, why this man was honored, and a minute silence was observed in the Canadian Parliament on his first year death anniversary. That is kind of a very strange thing. I mean, if you remember last year, the Canadian Parliament brought in a Nazi into the Canadian Parliament, and he was actually when the Ukrainian president was visiting Canada. This guy came in, and then nobody
And
knew
he
about
was given a standing ovation.
and given a standing ovation. And then after a day, they realized, oh my God, this guy is a Nazi guy, and who had killed several people. And then the Canadian,
No, no, do you mean to say they brought him without knowing? I don't think so. They
exactly.
brought him with knowing, but they didn't expect this kind of pushback.
Possible, yeah. But the thing is, they apologized, and then guess what? They had to find a scapegoat. They fired the speaker. Okay, but it was actually the prime minister who had invited this Nazi guy. But the prime minister kept his job, and the speaker, poor guy, lost his job. Okay, so that's the way the Canadian Parliament and the government has been working for the under the leadership of Justin Trudeau, and the same thing happened here. They have honored this guy, but I'm telling you, you know what? It's not going to be too far. One day, when they realize the actions, the injustice, the killings, the murders that this Nijjar guy has committed, and how many innocent people he had killed way back in when he used to live in India, and this man, just so that just so that everybody knows who's listening, he actually came in as a under a false passport, under a fake passport, and then he was basically he asked for refugee status, and he was denied refugee status. Then he married a Canadian, hoping that he'll get Canadian citizenship right away, but he was denied Canadian citizenship because they again caught him. That he said they said that no, this is not how the Canadian citizenships are awarded or rewarded. And eventually the guy was living here under no status for a while, and one day, somehow, somewhere, they gave him Canadian citizenship, and this happened only just a few years ago. And now an ordinary plumber who became a citizen just a few years ago has assets worth millions of dollars. He's on the no-fly list. His bank accounts have been frozen, and now this same man has been honored in the
बट
parliament.
बट सीमा जी, ये तो अच्छी बात है जो फेक पोस्ट पासपोर्ट में आया है. ओके, जो बहुत गरीब एक इंसान है, जो प्लम्बर रहा है, उसके लिए पार्लियामेंट, कैनेडियन पार्लियामेंट उसको इज्जत दें, ऐसा रेस्पेक्ट करें, उसके लिए मौनांजलि करें, ये तो अच्छी बात है ना. ये तो लाइक रैग टू रिचर स्टोरी बॉलीवुड.
जी, ऐसे है कि वो किस बैकग्राउंड से आया है या क्या काम करता था, ये कोई मायने नहीं बात रखती है, क्योंकि हमारे पीएम भी तो चाय बेचते थे। ये नहीं, हम इस चीज़ पे नहीं कर सकते हैं बात, क्योंकि जो देश को प्यार करने वाले, देश के लिए बलिदान देने वाले, वो भी कोई अमीर नहीं थे या अच्छे उनके कह
नहीं
कह लो
नहीं,
जॉब।
इसका जो सासठ है उसका
बात ये
$5 मिलियन ही था।
बात ये है कि एक कहावत है ना कि जिसकी लाठी उसी की भैंस, है ना? तो अब हो ये रहा है कि ये लोग गलत होते हुए भी, क्योंकि ये एकजुट है, ये अपनी गलत बात को सही कैसे, मतलब कि हर जगह पे करवाना है, चाहे भारत हो, चाहे विदेश हो, तो ये इनको टैक्ट आते हैं। हमारे लोग जो हैं, उनको चाहे इनके टैक्ट सारे समझ आ रहे हैं, लेकिन इनको काउंटर नहीं कर रहे हैं। इनका
मगर मगर
इनको
मगर ये बेचारे अफगानिस्तान से दुम दुबा के भाग के आते हैं, किताब को सिर में रख के। पाकिस्तान से दुम दुबा के भाग के आते हैं। ये तो
जी,
बेचारे
जी,
हैं।
वो इसलिए कि वहाँ ये कम है ना, यहाँ अब इकट्ठे होके जिसकी लाठी उसी की भैंस वाला ये कर रहे हैं। तो लेकिन पहले बात और थी कि मतलब कि सभी देशों में अपने भारतीय कम थे। अब तो सारी कम्युनिटीज हैं, अब तो गुजराती, मराठी, बंगाली, बिहारी, यूपी सब बैठे हैं विदेशों में भी। तो वो पार्लियामेंट में नहीं बैठ सकते क्या? अगर चलो बैठे भी हैं, मुझे लगता नहीं कि वो बोल रहे हैं। वो कुछ नहीं, वो सुनते हैं, वो बोलते नहीं है। क्यों?
ये ये
उनको यही
ये देखिए,
यही
ये एक मिनट, मैं ये वीडियो दिखाना चाहूंगा। ये जो बहुत अद्भुत वीडियो है, ये देखना है इसको। ये चंद्र आर्य हैं, सिटिंग करंट एमपी हैं, लिबरल पार्टी के हैं। ही बिलोंग्स टू द सेम पार्टी ऑफ ट्रूडो। आई हैव नो आइडिया हाउ, बट
Mr.
लिसन टू
Speaker, June 23rd is the National Day of Remembrance for Victims of Terrorism. 39 years back, on this day, Air India Flight 182 was blown up mid-air from a bomb planted by Canadian Khalistani extremists. It killed all 329 passengers and crew members, and this is the largest mass killing in Canadian history. Unfortunately, many Canadians are not aware that even today, the ideology responsible for this terrorist attack is still alive among few people in Canada. Recent celebration of assassination of Hindu Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi by Khalistan supporters, glorifying violence and hate, shows that the dark forces have been energized again and point to a dreadful times ahead. Hindu Canadians are rightfully concerned. I stand in solidarity with the families of the victims of Air India bombing. Mr. Speaker,
ये बहुत गहरी बात है, यू नो।
जी,
मतलब ये देखिए, 250 कैनेडियन सिटीजन को मारा गया कनिष्का में, उसके लिए कोई मौनांजलि नहीं, उसके लिए कोई दुख नहीं। मगर ये एक व्यक्ति, वो बेचारा प्लम्बर, वो मारा गया, मगर मगर
वो भी
ये देखिए, आप टेक
वो
ऑफ
भी
करने के
फनी
पहले
वो भी
एक मिनट सीमा जी, मैं आपको ये दिखा दूंगा कि
हम्म।
दीपक जोशी जी बोल रहे हैं कनाडा ऑन द फुटस्टेप ऑफ पाकिस्तान। इसको भी कवर करें प्लीज।
जी, क्या क्या कह रहे हैं?
कनाडा पाकिस्तान की रास्ते में चल रही है।
आ, चलो, उनके अपने विचार है, लेकिन मुझे जैसे मैं बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल, कनाडा अगर ऐसे चलेगा तो उसका भी फिर जो फ्यूचर है वो ऐसा ही होगा। और दूसरी
बिल्कुल।
बात ये है कि जैसे आपने बोला कि कनिष्का का जो इंसिडेंस था वो भूल गया कनाडा का पार्लियामेंट, और वो चीजें सारी भूल गया जो टेररिज्म का शिकार हुई वहां, उसके लिए मौन नहीं रखते ये लोग, रखा, और इसके लिए मौन रखा। जबकि जबकि ये कनेडियन इंटेलिजेंसी को भी पता है कि ये क्रिमिनल्स एक्टिविटीज में थे, और उन्होंने उनका मतलब कि देश से बाहर जाने के लिए पाबंदी थी, मतलब वो फ्लाइट नहीं कर सकता था, है ना? ऐसा कुछ उसके ऊपर था।
यानी
तो
वे
ये
प्लीज।
डबल फेस जो है दिखाते हैं लीडर्स। जनता उस चीज को समझ रही है। जनता अगर समझ के भी चुप रहती है, तो मैं देखो, मैं 80% दोष जो है ना अपनी कम्युनिटी को देती हूँ, जो इन चीजों के लिए घर में बैठ के आपस में तो डिस्कशन करते हैं, फोन पे डिस्कशन करते हैं, सड़क पे नहीं आते, बाहर नहीं आते, मीडिया में नहीं आते। अब मुझे कनाडा से भी कई लोगों के फोन आए कि सीमा झंडे के साथ ऐसे किया, ये किया, वो किया। मैंने कहा मुझे क्यों बता रहे हो, मैं तो कर ही रही हूँ यहाँ, तुम लोग वहां क्या कर रहे हो? ठीक है, तुम लोग इतनी भीड़ हो, इतनी भीड़ नाचने गाने के लिए, लेकिन तुम लोग इनको रोकने के लिए आगे क्यों नहीं आते? पार्लियामेंट भी सुधर सकता है, हर चीज सुधर सकती है, अगर ये लोग जो है उस चीज को सुधारने के लिए संकल्प लें।
Absolutely. Vinay ji, same question to you, sir.
Well, the background of Nijjar, I just want to highlight that before I delve into the Pakistan thing, right? Like the way our Canadian government here works, I just want to give you a little bit of background. So Nijjar arrived in Canada on 10th February 1997 using a fraudulent passport. Fraudulent passport. And he had the passport under a fake name called Ravi Sharma. Okay, that's the name that he identified himself on the passport. And then he came to Canada and he made a refugee claim. In a sworn affidavit, he indicated that his brother, father, uncle had all been arrested by the Indian government, and he himself had been tortured by the Indian police. His claim was rejected by the Canadian government, as officials thought here that his documentation was fabricated. Officials suspected that a letter supposedly written by an Indian physician attesting to his torture was a forged document. Okay, so basically they rejected his claim. Okay, and then 11 days, just 11 days after his claim was denied, Nijjar married a woman who sponsored his immigration. Okay, officials noted that the woman had arrived in Canada also in 1997. All right, married to another man, and then so they looked at all the past and they said this is completely bogus documentation. So they rejected the claim of Nijjar, saying that your marriage is null and void because this marriage is a marriage of convenience for the sake of getting Canadian citizenship. Okay, Nijjar appealed in 2001, 4 years later, but he lost the appeal. Okay, but God knows what happened between 2001 and 2007. In 2007, on May 25th,
The Prime Minister changed.
he became a citizen of Canada. Okay. He was ultimately permitted entry into Canada. So this is the story. So now, if you look back and compare it to Pakistan, right? Like there are a lot of instances of these kind of bogus documentation and fake documents. I mean, we've seen a lot of these Pakistani air hostesses coming to Canada, and as soon as they arrive, they disappear. They're gone. God knows where, because they're hoping that they will become citizens of Canada. So this is happening.
And they can get recognized in Canadian Parliament too.
I'm sorry?
They can get recognized in Canadian Parliament
Eventually, who knows? So this is a good comparison, and if you want to compare it to Pakistan, right? So these kind of things are happening, and Nijjar has a very, very strong background, a known background, that he came to Canada with fake documents, forged documents, and he did marriage. I mean, he got into a marriage of convenience, all of that, and all of a sudden, the Canadian Parliament is glorifying this guy because he's a Canadian who got killed on the Canadian soil.
let me ask you, जो नो फ्लाई जोन में था, नो फ्लाई लिस्ट में था, फ्लाइंग के लिए डेंजर था, डेंजर ऑफ फ्लाइट, ओके, तो इसके ऊपर स्पाई किया गया, ओके, ये सब हुआ, मगर ये तो अच्छी बात है ना, ये तो लाइक रैग टू रिचर स्टोरी। एक आदमी आता है और वो गुरुद्वारा का प्रेसिडेंट हो जाता है, ये सिर्फ प्लम्बर नहीं था, ये गुरु नानक गुरुद्वारा का प्रेसिडेंट रहा है, ओके, और इसका एडवोकेट जो है वो स्वयं पन्नून रहा है, मतलब ये हैड अ सेलिब्रिटी एडवोकेट, ओके, तो इसका रेस्पेक्ट होता है, ऑनरिंग होता है कैनेडियन पार्लियामेंट में। ये तो रैग टू रिचर स्टोरी है, बॉलीवुड से स्ट्रेट आउट ऑफ बॉलीवुड। ये तो आपके लिए बहुत खुशी की बात है।
No, I mean, like, okay, I ask the viewers to do a little bit of research. Actually, Nijjar today has his own Wikipedia page. Okay, and the funny thing is, the Wikipedia page was probably created by somebody else, a third party, and as you know, Wikipedia can be edited by anybody. It's got no rights on that. Only certain people can edit it, or the owner can edit it. I can go and edit its page or whatever, right? So, but the thing is, there is a lot of facts that are being given in the Wikipedia page about Nijjar, and some of them are pretty gruesome if you look at it. I mean, at one point, he had actually told in an interview with Globe and Mail, he advocated for the use of weapons against Indian opponents, stating he had stated that we will have to take up arms, we will have to dance to the edge of swords, and those who advocate peaceful methods to to get our Khalistan, we need to leave them behind. What justice will we get this way? These were his words. Okay, so this man is in another picture. I mean, if you've seen some pictures of Nijjar, he's actually touting an AK-47 in Canada, and he's using the AK-47 in one of the forests in British Columbia. Like, who in their right mind would give him a license to have AK-47? No ordinary common man is allowed an AK-47. I mean, in Canada there are strict gun laws. Okay, so even if I want to own a firearm, I can't. It's not possible that easily.
And it is very expensive. Some only millionaires like Nijjar can afford it.
Exactly, AK-47s don't come cheap, and you don't. I mean, these are not pistols or rifles that are fake. I mean, like that are country made. Let me put it that way. The AK-47 is an AK-47, and it comes from Russia, and it's a Kalashnikov, and obviously it costs a lot of money. Only the army and the defense forces are allowed to have that. So this is the irony of this whole thing. And it says very clearly in the same Wikipedia page that he had a dispute with Ripudaman Singh Malik, a Canadian Sikh that I was just talking about, who had been acquitted or involvement in the 1985 bombing of Air India flight. And Malik and a partner purchased a commercial printing press to use to print Sikh religious scriptures, but later sued Nijjar in a civil lawsuit in British Columbia, alleging that Nijjar had failed to return the press that Malik had given him for safekeeping. So there's a lot of conflict that has happened here between Ripudaman Singh and Nijjar, and that is something the Canadian
and
government
drug takeaway. Yeah, and also the drug rings and
exactly,
anything.
exactly, yeah.
But Seema ji, आपका last word if you want to say anything about Nijjar and he getting honored in Canadian Parliament. 30 seconds में.
जी, जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा है कि अगर ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं तो वो पॉलिटिशियंस तो अपने काम करने ही होते हैं, लेकिन दबाव जनता का रहना चाहिए। अगर कनाडा की जो जनता है, इन चीज़ों को इग्नोर करती रहेगी तो वो ये काम जो दूसरे लोग गलत लोग हैं जो एकजुट होकर ये गलत चीज़ों को सही चीज़ों को गलत ऐसे ये सब कर ही रहे हैं सालों से, तो ये चलता रहेगा। लोगों को एकजुट होना पड़ेगा, स्ट्रॉन्ग होना पड़ेगा। अब हम नेताओं को क्या बोले, नेताओं ने तो अपने जो स्वार्थ है वो तो पूरे करने के लिए उन्होंने तो कुछ भी करना है। लेकिन अब देश की जनता को ये सोचना चाहिए, कनाडा की जनता को भी ये सोचना चाहिए कि जो उनकी पार्लियामेंट में हो रहा है, क्या वो सही हो रहा है और क्या उनको ऐसे कंटिन्यू होने देना चाहिए? और अगर ये कंटिन्यू होता रहा तो उस देश का क्या होगा? ये क्योंकि इफेक्ट तो जनता को भुगतने पड़ेंगे ना। लीडर्स तो सुरक्षा में हैं, सुरक्षा में रहेंगे। आम जनता खतरे में जा रही है, समाज खतरे में जा रहा है, देश खतरे में जा रहा है, तो ये कनाडा की जनता को भी इस चीज का विश्लेषण करना पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल। Vinay ji, 30 seconds, your last word.
So I just want to say that the Canadian government, the RCMP, I think needs to do a better job on investigating this, the killing and the people responsible.
Yeah, they had to do a better job. They are doing a better job. What more you expect from them?
No, no, I'm just saying that they need to do a better job, because the investigation that they've done is a very biased investigation, and they're pointing fingers to the Indian government, saying that these three people who've been arrested in May 2024, Karan
See
Brar,
here,
age 20.
what kind of phenomenal job they are doing. You see this here. We have done the sting video on them on this. This is Peel Police. You know, see here on the back you can see "We Love Khalistan" banner. You know where the police is going, and in fact they were driving around with the Khalistani flag in the this thing. You know, car, the patrolling car. Okay, and also it is being openly said now from the official statement that gurudwaras are the center of all kind of drug and those kind of rings out there. But they know everything. What more they need to know, Vinayji?
Well, they need to know the basic fundamental thing behind how Indian agencies operate, like the intelligence agencies like RAW and whoever, right? And so the three people who are arrested, Karan Brar, 22, Kamalpreet Singh, 22, and Karanpreet Singh, 22, they all have links to the gang of Lawrence Bishnoi. Okay, and Lawrence Bishnoi is now lodged in a jail in India, and he's supposed to be a mastermind for many of the things that are happening in India. He's one of the big gang leaders, but he's arrested, but he still operates from jail. Okay, so the thing is that these people, and there was a link between Nijjar and Lawrence Bishnoi. There were some disputes and stuff like that as well there. So that is another thing that they've kind of missed in this whole investigation. And the other thing is the fundamental thing: research and analysis wing of India is a very elite, one of the elitist agencies, spy agencies in the world. Okay, now if they have hired three good for nothing 22-year-old people to do to plan a killing of a dreaded terrorist, and if that's what the Canadian intelligence agency RCMP and CSIS and the Canadian government is assuming, that is extremely sad on their part, because they've not done their job yet.
Wow. Friends, what do you think about Nijar killing? What do you think about he being honored? Okay, again, the Global Mail, what Vinayji was referring, they were the one asking the question to the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, and she was just sitting mouth shut, had no answer, and the question was very simple. If अगर निज्जर नो फ्लाई लिस्ट में है, अगर वो रिस्क है, फ्लाइट रिस्क में है, तो ऐसा है होने वालों को क्यों हानर किया गया पार्लियामेंट में? ये एक सवाल था। दूसरा है, ये आप लोग इसको बोलते हैं कि गरीब प्लम्बर है, मगर उसका असर्ट्स आर वे मोर देन $5 million। वो कैसा हो सकता है? ये भी पत्रिका ने पहला बार, मैं उनके लिए बधाई दूंगा। ऐसा तो कनाडा में पत्रिका पूछता ही नहीं है, they keep quiet and shut. But I'm glad they asked this question. Thank you, Vinay ji, for joining us. Thank you,
Thank you, Ji.
Seema ji, for joining us. I am saying you good times are ahead, and these, Canada-Indian relationship will get better. Hopefully, these guys will get brain sometime. Is our wish and pray. Thank you, Jai Sri Krishna. Please do comment and let us know what do you think. Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna.